Divested wife, and I would like to talk about white people being used as weapons against divestment and BWE content creators. Now, in divestment, the main message that we teach is for black women to get to safety and for black women to explore their dating options, because black males have been toe tagging and Ring and Ming us at such high rates that black women have the highest domestic violence rates and the highest femicide rates. So we tell black women that they need to get to safety. They need to get the fuck away from Blackistan, and they need to explore their dating options. Okay. That is what we say over in BWE and in divestment. So anytime you have white people speaking out against that, I'm going to side eye you. I'm going to fucking side eye you, and I'm going to label you a liberal, because only a liberal motherfucker is going to sit up here ignoring government statistics and facts. Okay, a conservative white person is not going to be sitting up in here talking about those divestors are crazy and those divestors are wrong and all that shit, when everything that we say is backed up by data and statistics. Okay. So anyway, Ches puts this white woman on her channel and titles it "A White Woman Reacts to Cynthia G." And all she does is pretty much just gaslight Cynthia G. She calls her crazy. She calls her delusional. But one of the things that I always notice is that none of these bitches can motherfucking dispute anything that Cynthia fucking G says. Okay? You cannot dispute anything that she is saying, because what she is saying is backed up by data and statistics. Okay? And black women are sick and tired of being gaslit too. We're being called crazy and we being called delusional because we don't want to mess with these groups of men who are toe tagging us at such high rates that now black women have the highest homicide rates of all races of women. Okay? And if you as a white woman don't understand that, then I pity you. I pity you. And I don't want shit to do with you. Point blank, period. That's why my white friends are all conservative, because they understand where the fuck I'm coming from and they understand statistics and studies. They're not going to be sitting up in here going, statistics are racist. Statistics are racist. This is racist. Okay? So this is what this liberal white Becky has to say towards divestors and Cynthia G.
Absurd and delusional and super effed up. This is like the type of thing that would get me into a fist fight, and I'm not really like that. You want to bring that lady to church and help her meet Jesus.
How the fuck are you going to be sitting up in here talking about you need to bring somebody to church and you're threatening to beat up somebody because they don't want to date black men or don't want to give birth to black babies? Okay, yeah, that sounds Christian-like.
Okay, so I think we're officially now into the divestor or the divestor adjacent camp. So I'm going to play this for you.
Notice how they always want the white woman validation, or they want white people validation against divestors, okay? This tactic is getting old. Y'all are really showing your hand right now, and it's looking quite pathetic. It's looking like I crave white validation. That's what it's looking. That's what it's giving right now. Okay, because if this woman is not coming with facts and statistics, then I don't want to hear a fucking thing that she has to say. And her having white skin doesn't mean shit to me. I don't worship whiteness. We don't worship whiteness over here. So if you think you're going to put a white woman on here and that's supposed to make us divestors feel a certain way, you're wrong. If you're not coming with fucking facts and statistics to dispute anything that we're saying, then your fucking argument is invalid.
What? And we'll get your feedback. This is from a
oh no.
She doesn't call herself. You're like, what did I just see?
I already feel terrified.
You should feel terrified.
She doesn't call herself a divestor, but she uses all of the divestor talking points. And honestly, divestors sometimes go after her because they're just like, you're stealing all of our work, but you're just not giving us credit. But her talking.
No, that is not why we're annoyed. We're annoyed because our movement has been under attack from women who are trying to steal our talking points. And they got a whole group of young black girls confused as to what divestment is and what it stands for. We are gatekeepers of our movement. We got black women up here who are using divested talking points, but they're still sleeping with black men and they're calling themselves divested. We had to put a stop to that, okay? We had women up in here who identify as sugar baby, which I call them sugar roaches, trying to infiltrate divestment. We had to put a stop to that. But for the most part, I think Cynthia G does an excellent job of spreading the message that black women need to get the fuck out of Blackistan. So I appreciate her contributions. I don't need a pat on the back from Cynthia G. I don't need no acknowledgement from Cynthia G. I don't need none of that shit. Okay? So no, that is not what it is. Divestors are annoyed when people try to hijack our movement and then try to change it into something that is not.
Pretty much what you would find on a open divestor channel. Yeah, so let me play it just real quick and then we can go from there.
And on top of that, why are you saying divestors? Divestors are not the ones getting impregnated by black men. So the issue of aborting black babies is more of a BWE issue. It's not a divestment issue. We're not getting pregnant by black men, and we're not having the issues of having to abort black males. That is a BWE issue because they're still sleeping with black males. So don't sit up there and try to link divestment to aborting black males. See, y'all think y'all slick. Y'all think y'all are so slick, and you're not. You are not slick. Okay?
And the only reason I support aborting a black child when it comes to it being male is because when I look at the black community and the problems in it, it's associated with males and male pathology. When you talk about violence, it's associated with the males. When you talk about the women being forced upon, it's the males. When you talk about drugs, it's the males. When you talk about the fatherless children, it's the males. Every single problem that is happening in the black community, you point to the males and then you have the culprit. So for me, I think that not selectively breeding is very irresponsible when you are the only one who has control over who gets to earth. Your womb, it carries the person to earth. So if you're the only one with that power, regardless of whatever he wants, if I feel like if black men want black women to give birth to their children, then they need to act like it. They need to go out. They need to clean the community up. They need to stick around, raise their children, stop being violent, stop forcing themselves upon women, stop toe tagging us every 5.5 hours, and then we won't have a problem with having your children. If they were being responsible, this conversation wouldn't be happening right now.
So, okay, so these are some of the lovely...
Oh my gosh.
Why are you sitting up here acting like as if what Cynthia G said was wrong? Okay? Everything that Cynthia G said can be backed up with statistics.
What?
So these are the lovely women who want to integrate.
Why are you sitting up in here looking shocked as if white women don't have no fucking abortions either? Y'all practice selective breeding as well. When you're picking and choosing which men to sleep with, guess what? That is selective breeding. So don't sit up here and act like this is, y'all are some white supremacists and all this shit like that. No, what we're saying is that we're choosing not to sleep with black males, and we ain't giving birth to these motherfuckers because they have proven time and time again that they hate our guts and they hate the womb in which they come from. So no, you getting cut off on all fucking degrees. You're getting cut off from my body. You're getting cut off from my mind. You're getting cut off from my soul, and you're getting cut off from my womb. What the fuck is hard to understand about this?
Into your community.
That woman wants to marry a white man.
So they will say, and this is how they get around it.
So what if we want to date or marry white men? Can you dispute what she just said? And the answer is no. And the fact that you're bringing up interracial dating tells me everything that I need to know, that you don't like divestors because you probably view divestors as competition for these brads. That is what it is, okay? Like, why are you sitting up in here caring about who black women choose to sleep with? It's probably because you are a black male identified white woman who is used to being put on a pedestal by black men. So you like the fact that you're deemed as better than black women. But if black women are divesting and black women are choosing not to fuck with black males, then where the fuck does that leave you? Your whole self-esteem and your whole identity comes crashing to the fucking ground when you no longer are a preference. That is what this is about.
Right? Because they'll say either date a white man because they don't toe tag, which is a euphemism for, well, deletion, things like that, deleting people. Or they'll say, you know, expand your options, marry these other races of men because they're not doing all the things that she just described. So they will openly encourage women to date out because they want them to get away from the barbaric boogeyman that Black men are. So then my question to you would be, okay, women who are coming with that energy, do you think that would widely be accepted?
No.
In the white community?
Unless you marry someone who's into eugenics.
Anyone who has a fucking brain in their head and know how to read statistics knows that Black women have everything to divest from, not Black males. I find it quite interesting that she, and I'm talking about Ches here, she loves to sit on her channel encouraging Black women to stick with Black men, but then she's telling Black men to go get their passports and go overseas. So which one is it? That is a major contradiction in your message. How the fuck are you going to tell Black women that we don't need to be exploring our dating options? Or if we are exploring our dating options, we're white supremacists and we hate ourselves and so forth. But then you're going to turn around and tell Black men that it's okay for them to date outside their race. And you don't have anything to say about that. All right. And Black men are not the ones getting toe tagged by Black women. So it is very important to realize when you're being bamboozled, women. Okay. A lot of these Black female content creators in this manosphere space have been cut off from the divine feminine. Because if you are going to literally sit up here and laugh and giggle and not address these femicide rates, then I'm going to look at you side eye. We have the highest homicide rates thanks to Black men. Address that. But you won't. You're not going to address that shit. Instead, you're just going to focus on Black women escaping and getting the fuck away from Blackistan. And you're trying to demonize women like that. Okay? When really the ones that need to be demonized are women such as y'all-selves who don't want to bring up or talk about Black femicide rates, but you want to sit up there and mock and make fun of Black women wanting to escape Blackistan.
I mean, honestly, like completely absurd and delusional, and
it's absurd and delusional that you don't want to give birth to Black males. It's absurd and delusional that you don't want to be the 10th baby mama. That is what you sound like. You sound dumb as shit. Okay. Clearly using a gaslighting tactic, okay? That is called gaslighting. When you're trying to convince a person that they're crazy, you're trying to convince them that what's happening to them is not really happening. That's called gaslighting. Liberal Becky here, she's not the one with high domestic violence rates happening to her. We are. So don't sit up there and call us crazy and delusional when most of us know at least several or 8 Black women who have been beaten up or toe tagged by Black males. Okay? This shit actually has affected us in real life while you sitting up here calling us delusional and crazy. All right? And on top of that, if you look at how Black males are treating women of other races, they're pretty much doing the same thing to them too. Impregnating them, dumping them, beating them up, toe tagging them. Okay? So, no, we're not delusional at all. You're delusional, though.
Super effed up. Super effed up. And it's like, it makes me a bit angry. Like, I could actually get into it with this lady.
You probably would.
Like this is like the type of thing that would get me into a fist fight, and I'm not really like that.
Whatever, you clearly like that, okay? I don't have time to fist fight you over me choosing not to birth Black males. All right? You gonna threaten physical harm and violence towards a Black woman who don't want Black men. And you think that you're the one that sounds sane.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, yeah, fair.
Like, you straight tripping, period. Like, to be talking like that about anyone, let alone people in your own community. Like, you have...
Oh, shut the fuck up. Black men talk about hair, nails, weave, hair, nails, wigs, weave, and all this other bullshit. They degrade us from head to fucking toe. Fuck them. By simply stating statistics, that's talking about them, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Okay? I'm trying to be nice, but it's really fucking infuriating, okay? Black men have degraded the very image of black women, and us simply reading statistics about them is considered wrong. Fuck out of here.
A ton of work to do. A ton. Like, you need to get off the platform and go to therapy.
For sure.
You need to get the fuck off this platform and go to therapy. Going to therapy is not going to stop black men from toe tagging black women every 4.6 hours. Going to therapy is not going to stop black men from impregnating and dumping every woman on the fucking earth. Okay? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? She needs to go get some therapy and she needs to do this. No, she needs to continue to do what the fuck she's doing, which is teaching black women to get the fuck out of Blackistan. Okay? She's doing God's work right there.
Like, no question. Like, whatever damage you have done, like, the answer is not to kill off black men. Are you kidding me? Like, that makes me so angry.
No, of course.
So you saying the answer is not to kill off black men, but black men are literally toe tagging themselves at such high rates that they have the highest homicide rates.
And again, you know, I think, okay, if that's the energy you're going with, how would a high value wife?
Good luck. You're going to be single your whole life.
Well, I got some bad news for you, Becky. Divestors do not have problems finding white men and non-black men.
You
like,
know,
I hate to be like that, but like again, back to adding value. Like, this isn't adding value.
And you don't bring no value to no white man either, which is why they deem your liberal asses undesirable. And you're not adding value to anything because you sat on this motherfucking podcast and not once have you brought up any statistics regarding black women femicide rates. Not once have you brought up any statistics comparing your domestic violence rate as a white woman compared to a black woman's domestic violence rate, which is 4 times higher. So no, you haven't added anything to this fucking conversation.
Like, if you think that it's okay to extinguish people, what makes anyone believe that they wouldn't be next in line?
exactly.
How you going to sit up here comparing Cynthia G to Hitler? Hitler murdered millions of people, okay? I don't even think a woman can have 1 million abortions in several lifetimes, let alone one. So give me a break. This just shows you how extreme y'all thinking is. Because you think a black woman practicing standards and boundaries when it comes to her womb, oh, she must be a Hitler. She must be a white supremacist, okay? That is how extreme your thinking is.
And so if she's talking about that with black men, she's probably talking about that about other people too.
That's true.
No, we're looking at the ones who are causing us the most damage, all right? And deciding you no longer have access to my womb and I am not going to birth you, okay? And I find it really interesting that none of these women want to talk about the fact that, according to statistics, black men date outside their race more than any other race of men on the planet. Black men have so many biracial children. They literally have billions of biracial children walking on this earth. And y'all want to sit up there and put the responsibility for black women to be birthing black males? What sense does that make? It is not my fucking responsibility to birth black males, okay? When black males don't even want to be birthed. They're trying to find Beckys that look like you to erase their blackness, but you got the nerve to be up here in black women's businesses telling us that we shouldn't be exploring our dating options and we shouldn't be practicing selective breeding. When we're the ones who are single mothers, we're the ones struggling with groups of men that don't want to build, don't want to produce, don't want to provide, and don't want to protect.
Operating under a completely different mode. Like, the fact that you would just say that and throw that like blatantly around means that you're capable of much worse.
It's quite obvious to me that this liberal white Becky wishes the worst for black women with white men. She hopes and prays that we're doing worse, but our statistics show that we're actually doing better, okay? Me and my husband live a quite peaceful and relaxing life together. We love each other. We view each other as soulmates, okay? I couldn't picture my life without him and vice versa, all right? We are not together for no nefarious reasons. And I can assure you, we have better things planned this summer than to be committing mass genocide. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm going to my husband's family reunion this summer. His family owns hundreds and thousands of acres, and they have a really nice log cabin out there. So we're going to be out there swimming and eating and, just having a good time, spending time with family, getting caught up. So I look forward to that. We also bought some tickets to a ball game, and we also have tickets to a concert. So we have a life outside of the internet. Do not allow this white liberal woman to bamboozle you, because a lot of these white women come from selective breeding themselves. They're very picky and they're very choosy as how they carry on their genes and get that last name, okay? So if white women can have this sort of standards, then why can't black women have these standards when it comes to the type of men and it comes to the type of children they choose to birth?
Get out. There's no room for you. I mean, not metaphorically, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I see.
not literally, but it's like, why are you?
Notice how this liberal Becky wants to throw shade at black women wanting to date interracially by telling them that there's no space for them over here. Okay, first of all, we don't need validation from you and we don't need permission from you to date your white men. Okay, we're already dating white men. We're already married to white men. So you're too late. All right. And I've been interracially dating white men and non-black men for the better part of my entire life. And I've never had any issues integrating into white culture. So miss me with the bullshit. You're not going to dictate where we go. You're not in control of whether black women should be allowed in your spaces. You know who's in control? Your white men. And your white men have deemed us worthy to be in their spaces. That is why they're asking for our hand in marriage and why you triggered jealous and upset. Because the very thought of a black woman snatching your white man away makes you fucking tremble with fear. That is why you sitting up in here trying to discourage black women from pursuing white men and non-black men. It's because you're pressed and you're jealous.
Why are you doing this?
We've told you why the fuck we're doing this. Do not sit up here and act like you are hard of hearing. Okay? That is why I refer to these bitches as slow. Because they know damn well that what we're saying can easily be backed up with statistics and facts. They know damn well that our men are trash, but then they want to sit up there and motherfucking ignore statistics because it don't sound right, because it don't sound good. Well, if it doesn't sound right and it doesn't sound good, then do something about it. Okay? And you want to talk about that we're dangerous? No. You know who's dangerous? White women like you. Okay, because you complain about white supremacy, yet you benefited from white supremacy. You've benefited from having groups of men who have built whole fucking infrastructures for your ass so you can sit online talking about how white men ain't shit and white men are racist and white supremacists. Okay, you're the dangerous one. She's a type of liberal white woman who's gonna vote Democrat right down the board, have motherfucking the police defunded all throughout the hood. And then when the shit hits the fan, be going crying to the white man to fix it. Okay? That's the type of white woman she is. So no, you're the one that's dangerous.
Yeah, I agree, Crispy. Like, garbage, complete garbage. That's just like my general response.
No,
like,
you're just like,
you know,
Yeah, garbage, just completely garbage. Yeah, you don't have no valid argument, okay? You ain't came with no stats, no statistics at all to dispute what Cynthia G has to say. That is why they will recruit these white women and these liberal white men who are black male identified to speak out against divestors. But notice how they don't speak up against these facts.
I mean, it's like, you want to bring that lady to church and help her meet Jesus.
Bitch, you're the one that needs to go to church. You sitting up in here threatening to harm black women, talking about we're crazy and delusional because we don't want to birth black males who are going to just be raised up to fucking toe tag us. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you're demonic.
at that point,
because that's the only thing. That's the only thing that's going to break that cycle. Like,
nothing is going to break the cycle. We don't want them. What part of that don't you understand? We don't want black males and we don't want to birth them. The end. Okay? Black males had over 500 fucking years to get it right. They refused to get it right. It's over. We cut you off from our wombs. We cut you off from our bodies. We're cutting you off from our minds. We're cutting you off from our souls. Now go get your fucking passport and get the fuck out of our faces. That is what most black women are at right now, and we're not turning back.
That level of self-delusion and self-deception can only be broken by one thing. And so I won't get on my preacher box, but yeah, that's straight from the pit of hell.
I've talked about that. I called it what was it? Demonology. And it's like how this stuff gets straight up into, it's like, now you're past a point of, this isn't just like hurt feelings. This is like, you are legitimately like, you're dealing
on the agenda of the enemy.
On the enemy,
sure.
Like dealing with doctrines of demons, like on a deep level. And there is a spiritual cleansing that needs to be done that no man, I don't care. He could be the whitest Nordic looking thing out there. That man can't save you.
Do you ever notice how every time a black woman is with a white man and she is traditional, feminine, and submissive towards her man, she's being accused of needing a white savior? Okay. Meanwhile, Becky, Ling Ling, and Esmeralda, they require their men to save them. They require their men to produce, provide, and protect them. But when it comes to black women, we get told that we asking for too much, or we don't deserve protection. We don't deserve provisions and all this shit like that. And then the ones that got a problem with interracial relationships, they'll turn around and go, you need a white savior. You need a white man to save you and all this other bullshit. No, I need a traditional man in my life, and that is what I got. And I know that makes you jealous and mad, and that's why you sitting up in here throwing shade, because you hate the very sight of a black woman resting in her femininity being taken care of by a masculine man. Y'all will be the first ones sitting up in here complaining about black women being too masculine. Black women are not traditional. Black women are not feminine. But the moment a black woman is resting in her femininity and she is submissive to her man, oh, she needs a savior. Black women are fiercely independent and have proven themselves to be able to survive quite well without the help or assistance from their men. So don't sit up here thinking that you're going to convince anybody that black women are just out here, like damsels in distress that need to be rescued by some white men or something like that. Like, nah. Like, that is laughable at best. Number two, the only ones who need white saviors are you. That is why a lot of you will try to recruit these liberal white people to speak up against divestors, to fight your battles for you. Okay? So you're the one who needs white saviors because you're over here losing while we're over here thriving.
That's the type of stuff from like the pit.
Yeah, no, legit.
Yeah.
Telling black men, oh, get your passports and leave. Y'all can get options. Y'all can have options, but black women cannot have no options. And you don't think that sounds demonic and ass backwards and fucking hypocritical and motherfucking contradictory. Okay? You don't get to sit up there on your channel talking about black men should have dating options, but black women should not.
Is that what everyone thinks? I mean, are these women dating white men?
We're dating white men. We're marrying white men. Get over it. Yes.
What do you think? Well, and this is why I'm asking you. I'm like, okay, so is this if a woman is coming with that energy? Because again, these are the women who are saying now they're a little bit more obviously more radical about it. But their solution for these women to escape these boogeymen is to go date out. Find a white man, find a non-black man out there, but it's to date out. And then in the process to abort any baby that would, And I'm like, okay, is that attractive? Would a high-value white man go for that deal?
First of all, divestors and women who are in BWE are not approaching white men talking about divestment. How many fucking times do I have to explain this to y'all? Okay? This right here shows me that y'all don't fucking hang out with no divestors. You really don't know any divestors. Divestors are not sitting here on dates with white men talking about divestment. Okay? We don't do that. So I find that quite interesting that you like to sit up here and make it look like as if divestors and women that are in BWE, like we're approaching white men that we're interested in, and we're talking about euthanasia and Hitler and all this shit like that. That is a very cartoony description of what the fuck you think divestors are like. We're not doing that. When I'm on a date with a white man, I'm not talking about white supremacy. I'm talking about my hobbies, interests, and activities, okay?
So that's
I guess it depends. Like we could get super political, but I won't. Like it depends. If that person shares your agenda, it might be attractive.
if he shares your agenda, but then what are you attracting at that point?
I mean, you're attracting someone who's not interested in you because that's their agenda.
White supremacists are not dating or marrying black women. So your argument is invalid. We don't need white validation. We don't give two shits about what you think about us with white men. Really is giving jealousy, is giving bitterness, is giving you haven't accomplished shit. So you want to target divestors because you see us over here having boyfriends and getting married, okay? I see right through the bullshit. Point blank, period. That is why y'all are so obsessed with divestors, and us divestors are not even checking for you. All right? So that's all I have to say about this. If you like this video, smash that like button and subscribe for more content below.